So with the cloud, you have access to be able to see or visualize, do a lockdown, anything you want to do from an app or a browser. And that has to do with your cameras, access control, your alarms again. So everything you can manage who, what, where, and how much from just your phone, even if you're on a cruise in the Bahamas.
Welcome. It is 2025, and you are about to get in the hole with Tech-Gofer. I am Nick Mulholland, president of Tech-Gofer, and your host today. Excited to have Josh Dickinson from PhySaaS, the CRO over there. How you doing, Josh?
It's another day. Great.
Another day. It's a whole brand new year. Man, are you looking forward to this year? I'm seeing that it's starting to get busy.
Yeah, it's really picking up. I mean, it's everything from, it hasn't stopped. I mean, back-to-backs every day now, so it's perfect.
Yeah, glad to hear. Well, as we always do, let's start with what are we drinking today? So, Josh.
Drinking Willet bourbon.
Love it. You got a little bullet in the glass I see there?
I got a bullet in the glass. It's my bourbon glass. Drink it. Use this one almost every time. Every night.
There you go. Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah, Willet's my go-to. Just an easy one. Otherwise, Eagle Rare or something like that. Colonel Jefferson.
There you go. I like those. I was just going to show. So for those of you that have not attended our events, this is from Lockwood Distilling out in Dallas, Texas. But if you do get the invite as a technology leader that we'd love to have at our events, you do get to typically leave with a bottle that gets engraved. And on this one, if you can see it, it says Tech-Gofer till I die. Being that we've had over 30 events, I have a lot of bottles with very interesting things engraved on them. So it's good stuff. Yeah, today, Josh, it's a little early here, so I'm drinking some green tea and I've got a protein shake. So that's exciting stuff over here.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it. So I guess first and foremost, before we get into career and all that kind of stuff, your LinkedIn, you advertise that you're the dad joke champion of the world, which that's bold talk. So I gotta, for our listeners, etc., at least give us one or two.
Off the top of the head, why did Cinderella fail at basketball?
Something about the ball.
She had a pumpkin as a coach.
Okay, all right, that's a dad joke for sure.
Yeah. I got 6 kids between 4 and 11, so it's I'm always trying to entertain.
Sure. All right, you want to give us one more?
Oh, why didn't the melons get married?
Why didn't they?
Yeah, why did the melons why can't melons get married?
Don't know.
Because they can't elope.
They can't elope. Yep, that makes sense.
Elope.
Well, for those viewers that would just want to see an entire episode of dad jokes, let me know. I do have this entire book. I'd be happy to just stay on and read. Just kidding. Actually, typically to kind of kick off our team meetings, we used to actually every single time we do a dad joke. Now we've kind of jumped into some other things, but fun stuff. All right, well, let's jump into it. So, Josh, you are the CRO at PhySaaS, which is a physical security as a service company. I think a lot of our listeners or watchers, they may or may not know what the heck that is. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to where you're at, and then a little bit about PhySaaS, and we'll go from there.
No, of course. So yeah, I've been in the channel for 20 plus years. I've been in 19 separate individual Las Vegas channel partner shows. It's way too many. Started my career I started my career at MCI when I was 16 and then stayed in telecom forever. I joined Real Links, which was a real small aggregator back in 04-ish. I was there for about 12 years building that up. They sold to GTT, and at that time, my partners and I started Hypercore Networks, which was an internet aggregator. We were about 60 million in revenue annually over about 6 years of being around. Sold that to Nitel. And then with that, I have a non-compete in place that I couldn't sell internet, and there's a hole in the channel for physical security. The same people are still in the network, the same decision makers, and security's never really been an option in the channel to make money off of, especially on that residual model. So basically what we've done is taken physical security as a service. We have the only MSP or wholesale agreement with Verkada. And we offer it as a managed solution to customers. So that way they don't have to put that capital up front for the hardware and the licenses. We amortize it over the course of a term.
Very
Making it a
cool.
lot simpler.
Very cool. I did not know. I mean, you and I have known each other for a few years at this point. I also started my career at MCI when I was 16. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
at the.
I was actually a supervisor when I was still six. Yeah, I was actually, they promoted me to a supervisor when I was 16. And I ran the top 5 team in the country for the next several years. My teachers worked for me. All my classmates worked for me. So it's a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
I have a very similar experience. I didn't get in. I was up for management stuff, but I turned it down right before the MCI WorldCom blow up. But that was one of my first jobs out. Was outbound calling people to schedule flip their long distance, so they were getting Sky Miles and American Miles and all that stuff. So that's that small world. That's hilarious.
I can still get my pitch. Yeah, AT&T paying at $5.95 monthly fee, 15 cents a minute. I got $2.95, 5 cents a minute, 4 free blockbusters. Stay on the line and close them every time.
That's giving me some flashbacks. That's hilarious. Small world. Let's go back to the PhySaaS, which I agree with you. Physical security has never really been in the channel. That's always been kind of a one-off type of a project that we've referred things out. So, I love the as a service. I think a lot of people, the OpEx versus the CapEx, that makes a lot of sense for them. I guess, talk a little bit about physical security in and of itself of those solutions, but also, why did you guys select Verkada? And then, I guess I'll use the buzzword. How is AI jumping into physical security solutions versus what, many people might be on today, and where it's different and benefiting them?
Yeah, so the traditional model of buying cameras and door readers and access control and alarm systems has kind of been you go find your vendor, you kind of get a demo possibly, and then you get it drop shipped to your doorstep, and you have to go find somebody to install it. You have to vet that person. You have to make sure it goes smoothly. It's a really clunky process, especially because most 98% of all the systems out there, the cameras, the access control, the alarm system, they don't actually talk to each other. They don't integrate. So the real value of Verkada is putting everything under one platform. So if you think about your home environment, you probably have like an app for your ADT, an app for your Ring doorbell, an app for your garage door. You have a tiger or a dog somewhere. You have a safe. None of them talk to each other. None of them actually integrate. So with Verkada's system, you can set up custom alerts that are very proactive, that uses the AI to let you know if you have loitering occurring. You get a text message on the spot. If you have tied a door and a camera together and you have tailgating where one person swipes and 4 people enter, you get a text alert on that. So proactively, you know that you have 3 extra people in your building versus you wandering around in a traditional manner and you find those 3 people and what are they doing? So it's a very secure way to keep your property safe, your people safe with that, again, a proactive, that AI-induced approach. We have one customer that has it's 7 different restaurants, one GM, and they have a problem with dine-and-dashers. So now anytime somebody doesn't pay their bill, they just circle that person's face. And because of the people recognition, if that person shows up on any of his cameras in any of his 7 restaurants, he gets a text alert on the spot. So it's instant, it's actionable. He takes his old video footage, sends it to his local manager and tells them to take care of it. So again, it's that they don't have to go search for a person. They don't have to go do it. They get that money on the spot. It's instant. So you get that ROI almost immediately, just depending on what your situation is.
Yeah, so I do want to talk ROI and some other things, but I wanted to kind of along those lines. So if there is anybody out there that's already purchased Verkada, is that something that you guys can talk with them about of taking over from a management, co-management perspective, fully managed perspective?
Yeah, actually, we actually just sold, I guess, to a customer last week where they already had 30 something Verkada cameras already in place. They didn't have part of their warehouse secure with other cameras, nor do they have access control. So we're actually coming in and installing the rest of their security system on top of do ongoing management on their existing cameras. So that way we can pull everything together. We'll pull footage for them. If they have any moves, adds, changes for access control and hiring and firing, we do all that for them. Plus we also monitor all the cameras over the top. So We actually ping the cameras every couple minutes. After 15 minutes and no response, we actually open a trouble ticket, communicate with the customer, and decide, are we sending an overnight replacement because of the 10-year hardware warranty? Are we rolling a truck on our dime because it's a managed service? Or is it an internal LAN issue and we kind of work to get you back up and running? Just really trying to shorten that liability, though, over the top.
So tell us a little bit more about where does the PhySaaS solution kind of fit within the cybersecurity as a whole for companies? Is that something that would be included on like an insurance policy and their, policies and procedures, or is that really something that's actually separate? Because I feel like, as you kind of mentioned, sometimes physical security just gets roped into cybersecurity because you're protecting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own security posture. So what are they trying to actually do? Are they trying to keep their warehouse secure so that way nobody breaks in? Are they trying to protect their employees in the parking lot as they walk to their cars? So everybody's security posture is a little bit different. So it kind of sets up the same kind of uniqueness with cybersecurity. You're still trying to keep things out. You're still trying to block bad stuff, malware, etc. But it's just kind of a different approach. Where we come in over the top and we manage everything, and we're going to be helping that customer decide on their security posture. We're going to provide a free site survey where that person's going to have a registered technician with PhySaaS walk around their property and suggest blind spots or suggest maybe doing something with their IT closet and ensuring that's secure. So they don't give suggestions just the same way on a cybersecurity type of policy or procedures. You don't have the same kind of recommendations of what you're trying to block, what you're allowing, what you allow your employees to access. Every company is different. Insurance does, most insurance companies do actually give a discount or a tremendous discount for having security in place, physical security in place. We're actually implementing it's a huge resort in Florida right now, but they're saving, they're end up spending probably 10, 15,000 a month in cameras with us, but their savings on insurance is even more than that. So it's completely worth it to them to save money as well as protect their people and property.
Yeah, I appreciate you kind of ending there because that was one of the questions that I think a lot of our viewers and listeners would like to understand is, so if I need to go find a physical security solution, whether it's as a service or what are some of the things that they should be looking at, especially if they're going to go cloud and creating those ROIs, which the insurance component, I think a lot of people wouldn't even have thought of that. What are some of the things that they should be looking at that benefit them in the solution, as well as when they have to take that information to their C-level or their board to kind of say, look, we're going to go with this and here's why, here's the numbers and what we're going to spend, but it's going to offset these other things that makes it completely worthwhile and fairly obvious to go with, I guess.
Yeah, no, of course I'm kind of biased towards Verkada because we have our agreement with them, but I truly believe it's the best technology out there. It's the single platform that brings everything together from every aspect of security. If you need motion detectors are built into cameras, or we have individual, you need door sensors, anything, I mean, everything possible that you have in a traditional alarm system. If an intercom, like a Ring doorbell on steroids, we have that. The AI, the proactiveness, that there's a lot of stuff that other offerings don't necessarily have. As far as the cloud offering, there's no CCTV, there's no DVRs, NVRs, so there's not an extra box sits on your property that can either be taken, and that way you don't even have your footage anymore, or you have to upgrade it every couple of months because it runs out of storage, or that manufacturer goes out of business. I've heard all that kind of stuff. So with the cloud, you have access to be able to see or visualize, do a lockdown, anything you want to do from an app or a browser. And that has to do with your cameras, access control, your alarms again. So everything you can manage who, what, where, and how much from just your phone, even if you're on a cruise in the Bahamas. So,
yeah. So it sounds like, I mean, there's obviously management efficiencies. You mentioned that, once you implement something like this, actually getting a review of your insurance policy would make a lot of sense because there's probably some savings there. Is there any other particular benefits that just jump out at you that, in projects that you see?
I mean, we've heard stories already where we've implemented our stuff and they realize they've actually helped solve an insurance case where they randomly had a glass or window break at 3 a.m. No rhyme or reason for it. Nothing happened to it. But they arrived. They got a notification when it broke. They looked at video footage and it was just a random glass breaking. But had they not had that footage, they would have probably assumed that there was some kind of break-in, theft. They would have probably done a lot more work internally to see if something was taken. So, I mean, it saved a lot of time in that sense. Because of the built-in motion detection, though, you can save all that traditional time that you're used to spending with like an NVR or CCTV. If you had a break-in some point last night and you walk into it at 7 a.m., you don't know when it actually occurred. You left at 7 p.m. last night, so you don't watch video footage from 7 to 7 to see when something happened.
Right.
That's right. So with our system, you can go directly to when there's motion. So it takes you out of that 12 hours of watching footage for absolutely no reason and makes it a lot more efficient to go directly to that. If you have something that's missing, you can actually circle where that item was located on the camera. Any kind of motion in that circle you drew will automatically be provided to you down below. So it automatically gives you the results you're looking for without having to do long searches or sit in front of a screen for a long time.
Yeah. What do you think is next in physical security as a service? Well, I mean, what do you think of some of the newer technologies that we might see in the next couple of years?
Ooh, that's a good question. They're getting more and more into processes, right? Like, so we've had several requests for making sure that hamburgers have the same amount of ketchup, mustard, and pickles at a restaurant as they put them down the line.
Uh,
Um, um, Supply chain where you have a camera reading a QR code on a crate and it's automatically pulling from your inventory control management system. So stuff like that's really where it's kind of taking it. It's just making a lot more efficiencies behind the scenes by using that technology and different forms of it, and then just making it a lot more productive.
It's really interesting. So for the viewers and listeners that are out there, what verticals are you typically seeing that the solution is just an absolute killer for? That it's solving all the problems that you've already kind of discussed.
Multi-site customers.
Okay.
44% of our customers have more than one location. They almost all of them implement it at all the different locations. A lot of them implement, probably most of them implement access control as well. So that way it is that one pane of glass to manage everything. But multi-site customers seem to be able to pull it all together. They understand the management behind the scenes because most companies don't have those resources as a security team to be able to handle it. As well as, like I said, instead of you having 3 apps per building that you're controlling, managing, now you have one that takes it all down to a single source.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think everybody's appreciative of you kind of explaining some of that physical security again. For those of you that were unaware, that is available now in the channel. So if any of you have questions about PhySaaS, physical security as a service, please reach out to Tech-Gofer. We can certainly hook you up with Josh, and happy to help. Before we go, we always try to talk about something related to golf. So the question for you, my friend, is what is your favorite golf tournament of the year and why? It doesn't have to be a pro one, just in case you don't really watch the pros.
No, I was actually watching the series yesterday, where where they were hitting into the screen. It was a 3-on-3 and Tiger
Yeah,
Woods, and
yeah.
that
I
was
can't
really
remember the name.
unique.
Brand new.
I
Yeah,
found that really, yeah, that was cool. Just a different viewpoint of how golf is played and whatnot. So I really enjoyed that. And they're still hitting the ball. They were still long. They had a huge putt that was 30
yeah,
something feet, I think. So
yeah. I've seen some of
yeah, so I'm always
promos.
turned on to that, I think.
As I say, I've seen the promos for that new league. It looks pretty interesting. I'm definitely going to check it out. I think my favorite, I mean, unless I'm playing in it, which would be the member at my club, it's got to be the Masters. I mean, there's just so much history there. It's just fun to watch. Everybody's on edge. It's just a cool tournament. So um, haven't gone, but that's on the to-do list in the next little bit. So
What's your favorite course you've ever played?
favorite course, that was actually a question on another show, is Chambers Bay outside of Seattle. There's another course that's outside of Banff called Kananaskis. Those are my top 2. They're just super unique, beautiful views. Courses are set up really nice. Yeah. What about you?
Trump National up in New Jersey, and then Tiger Woods 19th hole course. I've done that one up in Branson, Missouri. So I've done that one several times.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I look forward to getting out on the links with you at some point then, now that I know that you are, in fact, a golfer. Again, everybody, thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, share with anyone you think would benefit. Josh, thanks again for being on and explaining a little bit more about physical security for us. Cheers.
Have a good one.
Yep. Appreciate you. Bye.